We are back with
Hold on,
Valkenburg
not yet.
Foundation, not actually Rage Across New York, but it's kind of technically part of Rage Across New York. We are back with Werewolf from the early 1990s. This is the classics that started the hype. Valkenburg Foundation Skins Part 2. This show is rated Aru and also R. For Aru, for werewolves, for claws, for rending and ripping to pieces, for raging, and what else?
Ragabash.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking more like, warnings for our poor audience before they...
That is the warning. Ragabash.
Oh, okay.
Pay attention.
Pay attention. Hailwalker Pack is with us again. Feel free to introduce yourselves, gentlemen.
All right. The name's El Duende, pronouns any all, and I am playing as Jake Stromfeld, aka True Strike, the now heavily armored Get a Fenris.
Heavily armored.
And armed.
And armed, yes.
But that was
he's
always
a
the case.
Scary dude. I have a feeling that my idea of not using XP to raise renown in this system was foolish. I should have made it XP, because, yeah.
Especially considering the fact that even if we were in V20, Jake would still have ridiculous amounts of glory right now.
Yeah, he would have, wouldn't he?
He would still be a beast, because think about it this way, like each dot here is 20 points of deeds.
So you would be up like to 9 glory or something in V20? In W20?
Oh, and in V20 you get more XP for role-playing good, and I would say I've been doing pretty good at that.
One fine day, I might sit down and write the ultimate post contrasting game design in 20th Anniversary Edition and 5th Edition to point out the good and the bad. Because they're all broken in their different ways, and also have some nice solutions in their different ways. I like rage dice. I like hunger dice. I like the rework of the disciplines for the most part.
Yeah.
And I like the rework of the XP because characters don't get quite so insane in 5th edition as they do in earliers. Anyway, let's get the others a chance to have a say about who they are.
Hey, I'm Jan. I'm playing Paul, aka Squidders and Shadows, the Bonar
Squidders.
Ragabash, Thief, and Malcontent.
I'm Roger. I'm playing Miles Stormspeaker Lincoln, Glasswalker Galliard, New York Bohemian. Currently very far out of his element.
So last time, when we met these heroes, we are in fact now, we've played through all of 1991. We're now in February 1992. The Hailwalker Pack began investigations of the mysterious 7th generation during the downtime from Christmas of 1991. Skidders and Shadows, with True Strike support, decided to look into the security company Meridian Protective and Investigations at Liberty Island, and Miles planned to track down the psychologist who had raised concerns about the Morningside Rehabilitation Institute. So you went your separate ways. Skidders and Jane went to rob the wealthy. Jake got drunk with his friend Lester, accidentally breaking the veil, but since Lester just thought he was talking about alcoholism and delirium tremens, it worked out anyway. Skidders infiltrated the Meridian security locker room and stole some uniforms, some badges, a media response binder, a contact sheet with key numbers, and a radio frequency sheet, and also discovered that the head office was located in Midtown Manhattan. And Weave Walker's research identified the whistleblower's psychologist as Dr. Cassandra Morante, who used to be a rising star and then was ruined by lawsuits when she tried to expose the malpractice at Morningside. Weave Walker alerted the pack to a live television interview featuring Dr. Gunther Dragerunter, one of the names from the intercepted letters in the Umbra, a person who was literally writing on ancient parchment-style paper a letter to the Defiler Worm itself. Who knows who was sending the letters, but it was addressed from this Dr. Dragonrunter, and we don't know if this Dragonrunter even knows about the Defiler Worm necessarily. We got the letter and his name was on it. And he turns out to be the chair of the Association for Responsible Psychiatry, publicly defending psychiatrists against malpractice claims. And during this interview, he was dismissing them as the work of a litigious industry and sensationalist media. And Skitters went to ARP's Midtown office, posing as a private investigator, working on behalf of a deceased doctor's family, and secured an appointment not with Dragonrunter, but with the organization's counsel, a certain Mr. But before you could delve deeper into this corporate conspiracy, you were summoned to the Valkenburg Foundation in Wyoming, greeted by Kayla, the chief veterinarian at the Valkenburg Foundation. And you traveled there quickly by Moonbridge, so that was a quick trip from New York. That's weird. You get faster from New York City to Wyoming by Moonbridge than you would by taking a flight. Magic. We love it, right?
Yeah, magic's fucking awesome.
Magic is awesome. You have the support of the spirits with you, don't you?
That you can get to Wyoming faster than you can probably get to Long Island.
Yes. Yes, that is probably true. Unless you have a Moonbridge to Long Island, of course.
There might be one. We don't know.
Anyway, Kayla gave you the sensitive mission. A group of farmers are planning to hunt for predators that kill their sheep. Or so people in the community say, that sheep have been killed, and there's a rumor that the hunters will take matters into their own hands, because of course, going to hunt wolves out of season is not entirely legal. But this is Wyoming, and it's, far and few between, badges, people with badges, and I think it's like the National Park Service that deals with hunting and culling.
Game.
Fishing games, yeah.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Well, we feared that these local, shall we say, vigilante neighborhood protecting service would target a pack of her former patients, Lupus born Garou, who could not handle the change into being Garou, who could not handle the whole idea of transforming suddenly into humans, and went through treatment under her care to handle the mental trauma. And after that regime of medication and therapy, they have been released from the Foundation's care. They're living as wolves. They cannot change forms for their own safety. And they have a territory up in like a couple of hours north of the Foundation, basically up in the woods. And you traveled in your wolf forms to this territory and tracked them down. Jake got to lead this effort, as Jake is maybe a bit surprising. Jake is the wilderness guy in this group, and you found the four Garou. Snarl, a friendly bone gnawer, eats pine cones, who's a shy child of Gaia. Clawless, a scarred and withdrawn heart-warden, and Redfur, skittish red talon. You approached cautiously, and Stormspeaker convinced them that you were not here to hurt them. I think the whole thing that you were coming in as wolves in wolf form yourself really helped your case. That made them settle down quicker. And you also told them that Kayla has sent you, and they eventually accepted you. You warned them about the impending hunt, you offered to help, and suggest that you could create a false trail to lead the hunters astray. You started bonding between the two packs, and the playful Snarl initiated a game of Central A. So you spent maybe an hour or so out there in the wilds, just enjoying being wolves. I think there's gonna be a difference in like how you are playing as wolves. I think Snarl eats pine cones, Redfur, Clawless. They will all notice that the wolf form is not your natural born form. You are all hominids.
Homid-born city slickers.
Exactly. And I think Snarl...
Slicker part was intentional.
Clawless is a little bit grumbly. She's an old wolf. She lost her front paw claws before in some kind of bad situation. But she's not a young un, unlike the others. She's definitely an elder. But they've also all shown that they have submitted to you because you are like true members of the Garou Nation and you have renown, unlike these four. But as you were playing this scent relay, I gotta think that Snarl might have a little bit of an advantage on you guys just because of just being used to the wolf form. Like, you are not. Now, there is no technical way to... Okay. Why did I roll like that? There's no technical way to capture that. In earlier editions, there was a difference. So the Lupus gained more gnosis to start with. So they had, like, a better connection to the spirit world than the Homids had. I think Homids start with, like, 1 gnosis and Lupus start with 5 or something.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's part of their character sheet.
No, that wasn't there.
No, that wasn't there.
But
but Lupus started with a lot more like spirituality.
yeah, a lot more gnosis.
Still, it'd be kind of weird to have a Lupus-born character, and not have at least 1 point of survival.
That would
Why?
be.
Because you could be like they grew up in
Yeah.
If it's a situation where it's like they're like one of those like.
My point is that they're going to notice that this is not your natural form, and much like they would be awkward walking on 2 legs, I think they're going to be noticing sooner or later that the whole leaping on 4 legs is something you don't do as often as they do, or as naturally as they do. It's like you might be fluent in the second language, but there's still gonna be a little bit of an accent there, and they're gonna pick up on it. Not that it's gonna hold it against you, but they will notice it. Some of them Clawless might hold it against you a little bit more than the others, but I don't think Eats Pinecones and Snarl is gonna hold it against you as such, because Snarl just wants to have a good time, and Eat Pinecones has her pine cones, and she's pleased with eating those. She's always snacking there. It's like, I guess, as much as Jake looks like a surfer guy from California when he's a human in his vibe, she comes across like a surfer girl with the constant chewing gummy, constant chewing of gum, except it's a pine cone instead. Some of you made the argument that you should go and check out the farms locally and see if you can lay out a false trail somehow.
Yeah, I said that.
Also, I was thinking of another plan, just in case. We'll put it like this. I remember one time my cousin Roy, back in upstate New York, lost his guns due to Park and Wildlife Service for hunting out of season. Now that gives me an idea. Maybe we snitch to some Park and Wildlife guys, and maybe that might help.
As far as I know, they haven't hunted out of season yet. They're only talking about maybe doing it. So, we can't get them arrested off talking about doing something. You know what I mean?
I hear you, but those wildlife guys, they have a lot of power. They can.
I know, but they can't. I don't think they have the power to arrest you before you commit a crime. No, I don't think you can be arrested for conspiracy to hunt out a season.
Still, they could set up something where if they find you with a rifle and all the equipment ready, and you're out in the woods.
Yeah, then that would be actually hunting. But as far as I know,
and if we tell them right now, and they know that they're planning to do that, then they can set up sting operation pretty much.
It may be. It's a good idea.
Also, legally, they have the power to just enter private property. Out of character, yes, they do legally. If you own, say, 300 acres of land, they can just enter it without asking.
No, they can't. There's the Fifth Amendment.
No, for real. I'm not making this shit up. They can't enter your house, but they can look around the woods you own. That's legal. I'm not bullshitting you here. Or maybe I'm wrong.
They can't go onto private property.
Look, no,
they can. But
you're Irish.
So we have laws here too.
You're not American though. Okay, I know my laws, man. My grandpa was a lawyer, man. Also, you know, my family members have had run-ins with those guys before in real life. On private land. That's real, yeah. Even if they can't
game
legally
wardens
do
and
it-
wildlife officials can often enter private land without a warrant under the Open Fields Doctrine, which dictates that Fourth Amendment privacy protections do not apply to open rural land beyond the immediate area surrounding a home.
Yep.
So that's open fields.
Doctrine. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's if the field is
Game
open, like
warden-
fences up, they can't jump over it.
Farms, pastures, woodlands do not require warranty for entry or surveillance.
Yeah, game wardens have crazy amounts of power, man.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you can't go into the farmer's own house or their barns or gardens, but you can
But
go
you can
into
check out
the
their
actual fields where they have their crops growing.
If you see them doing some legal shit, like setting up, like, you know, their equipment getting ready to hunt wolves out of season, then you can get their ass.
So, yeah.
And, like,
that's...
game wardens do not fuck around with punishments. They can just take your guns.
Do landowners challenge game wardens with you know, legal suits over this all the time? Yes.
Yeah, it's America. Still,
course.
it'd be a good opportunity, though, to not only help them now, but maybe in the future. Because if we even get one of these guys to permanently lose their firearms because of this would be really good. We're killed overall.
Jake, you have no academics at all. Also, no investigation.
No law.
No
Yeah, no,
law.
I would say that all this out of character. Maybe Miranda knows this.
Yeah, that would be her. Absolutely.
Maybe Jake brings up the idea with Roy, and then that whole rant was basically Miranda talking about it.
How much does she know about game law and whatnot? I'm gonna put it to a difficulty. How evil should I be?
I would say pretty high because, you know, she's from the city.
She is from the city. But she also rolls amazing. So
Maybe
she knows about this.
Yeah. But I like to think that maybe she had a friend that told her one time, you know, or something like that, or maybe a family member. Yeah. You never know. Maybe she just got bored and did some research in law or something.
I mean, you are the questing pack, and she needs to keep track of things like this.
I think what we should do is go to the farms and have a look at them in the Umbra. See if there's any worm involvement, because if the farmers' animals are actually getting preyed on by some worm creature, that puts a very different spin on it.
That's a good idea. So we need to follow the trail ourselves as well as lay a fake one, but we'll definitely follow the trail and see what's up, and we'll post a letter to the game wardens or whatever, warning them.
Sounds good.
Oh, okay. I guess these guys. Do we know where the attacks have been happening?
Well, there's been rumors of attacks. So, no, you don't know any exact spot.
Okay. Do I know where the nearest farm is to here?
Sure.
Okay, I guess I'll head in that direction.
It's that way.
And a quick switch to helmet form once we leave so that the farmers don't see us and think, oh, they're right there.
Let's shoot them all. That's the pack we were looking for.
Yeah, give me a second.
I'll be doing that.
The plan, we get as close as we can, go into the Umbra dimension.
Let's stay on the Umbra for a while. Like, let's only go to the Umbra if we can't see any clues in our world.
Any
clues?
Clues. Oh, gotcha. You can see all the clues to everything, everywhere, all at once. Wait, what? That might be a reference to something that I've seen. Okay, we're gonna have our pack here. Our good friends.
Should probably
Away
have
from
timed
city.
this so we got close enough to the farms in Lupus form, so we're not like freezing to death in hominid for like a long trudge through the snow.
I believe you all have like dedicated clothes on you, right?
Yeah.
And it's a
If you don't, I know that, right?
yeah.
Also, Jake's been through stuff like this before.
It's not that cold for being Wyoming winter. It's a Chinook. It's all nice.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Let's see now. Here we go. Yes. You are getting out to the ranchland, and of course, out here, out of the forest. I mean, you can see. For you New Yorkers, you are still out in the boonies. This is still cold, and I mean, it's not very cold. I guess it's colder than New York, though. Or is it warmer than New York? Anyway, I'm not gonna get myself. My autistic brain does things sometimes. Here we go. But the ranchland out here is. You feel as Guru the shift from more pure wild into landscape tamed by the Weaver ever so lightly. It's not Fifth Avenue or Times Square, which is a fortress of the Weaver, but there are long sight lines, there's fences that force movement into predictable lanes. There's going to be, you're going to see farm animals. These are ranches that you have farmers who are growing crops on their fields when it's the season for it, but there's also going to be like cattle ranches and horse ranches out here. And I feel like those animals are going to be a bit skittish and worried around werewolves because you are the apex predators, aren't you? Who
Yeah.
in nature would take a contest with you guys. So if you get too close to a horse or, you know, cows, they might not take it too well.
I imagine.
Yeah, go ahead.
I imagine that on the other side, it looks like a Weaver place with wild pox.
I could have Weave Walker look into the other side for a willpower if you want me to.
I mean, that's what we came here to do.
I guess it is. Let's just say that the gauntlet here is not particularly strong. At all.
There's dirt and shit and pest everywhere.
It's the countryside.
Exactly.
Wow. What was that?
Just push it.
Just push it. That was a little bit sad.
That was sad. That was really sad, man.
Right, she succeeds! She's like, I can't focus properly. Okay, let me try again. Ah, okay. Yeah, the other side of the Umbra. She can report what she sees. And it is just death and destruction ever. No, it's not. Look at that, she says. It seems like a sheen that has learned how to wear landscape. It's too clean. Someone has scrubbed the ground with bleach and called it order. The fences are bright humming boundaries. The barbs are like tiny hooked teeth of light. The posts wear little stamped halos of ownership. There's a grid, the electrical grid. And there are pattern spiders, of course, climbing those electrical grid poles. It's a lot less webbing here than in New York, but there's still presence. You can see that each of these telephone poles and the electrical wiring where electrical lines are going will be basically covered by weaver webs. Corals are like geometric cages. So, yeah, any worm infestation at all, really. Like, she's not seeing anything that is obviously glowing green and horrible. She can't see any signs of blight, any signs of corruption, any signs of, you know, we're entering Mordor.
Yeah, the theory that this was just a coyote remains undefeated.
We're at a farm, right? Is
Yep.
There's like barns and is there like a farmhouse?
Absolutely, there are farmhouses.
Okay. I'm gonna go off and knock at the door.
First, you have to go through the
Okay.
gate and, private property, and then drive. I guess you're driving because, it could, on these big farms, it can easily be half a mile from the gate to the farmhouse. So,
Drive with what? We didn't bring the Winnebago.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
right.
can't drive. Yeah,
you've
we're
just been walking. You didn't bring the Winnebago. I guess Jake is used to walking this far. I don't know if Weave Walker and Stormbringer and Themis are used to walking this far.
Good
We
thing the
walk
human
all over
body
New
is
York.
built for endurance.
this is nothing.
I mean, if you are a homeless person in New York, this is nothing. Maybe it's slightly, something because you're working on a different ground than you would be used to in New York. Like, there's no pavement
walking-
here.
Yeah, walking through mud is unpleasant, but Jake's also used to that,
Yeah, he was.
before making it to the city.
True strike. Wits and survival, please. 3 successes on. Okay, I'm just gonna give you half. You will understand quickly here because you did your rite of passage the way you did it, or rather, before you got to the rite of passage.
The first rite of passage, if you will.
When you were picked into the ghetto federals, as it were, you were walking through a lot of rural areas, and here, it will strike you that you guys are visible from very far away. In a country where this countryside might be a bit on edge because of the whole killed sheep thing. But yeah, you're gonna approach a farmer's house.
Yeah, I
So
think
what cover
Jake-
story are we using here? I was thinking decent enough cover story would be if we're like ecology students from the university. Then we can say we're coming to investigate. That will give us
Yeah.
an
Don't bring up something important though. You
What?
see, folk in the countryside can get real trigger happy. I'd suggest we stay here.
We didn't jump the fence. We went through the gate.
Through the
People
gate,
don't
yeah.
shoot you for going through their
Yeah,
gate.
still. We should probably announce our presence from here, though, just in case.
No,
Boom!
you don't shout from half a mile away to a house. It's perfectly okay to walk up a lane to knock on someone's door.
It should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, if they shoot me, I'll owe you a $5.
All right,
Nah.
let's get to it then.
Knock, knock, knock. I mean, first thing you hear as you are getting close to the actual building, you're coming up towards the farmhouse, and you will hear dogs who are barking at you very intensely, no doubt. It's just a sharp, frantic chain of barks that flips the whole place from quiet to awake. Because that's what the dogs are for, isn't it? Isn't it?
Probably. That and also killing the shit out of any coyotes that try to do exactly what just happened to the sheep,
Exactly. I mean, they are here to alert the locals. So you're gonna rap on the door with your hands, dunk, knocking on it, and it's gonna take a moment, and then you're gonna have someone who's opening the inner door, because there's obviously a screen door, and then there's another door, and you're gonna hear a voice. Yeah, who is it?
My name is Elijah. I'm doing a wildlife survey. I have a few questions for you.
Sorry, no can do.
Please, it's really important. We're trying to investigate rumors of wolf attacks here. Have you lost any animals?
Charisma, what are we doing? Subterfuge, obviously, because you're lying, aren't you?
I'm being lying. Yes,
You're
that's what
being
I'm
lying.
Why am I lying? Like,
You're not.
Isn't
Are
Miles
you
the one
doing a
with the
survey? I
social-
guess you are doing a survey.
I was just that was more of a rhetorical question. I was like Miles is the one with the with
Well,
the
this is
social
fair.
skills.
Yeah. I don't know.
I've already started talking, so
Yeah, there is the question of whether, although Miles has the highest stats, whether somebody else would bond better with country folk.
I don't know. Skitters would bond better with
I
country
mean-
folk. He's.
Jake is originally from the countryside and has pretty decent persuasion. Maybe I could play the friendly fellow countrysider act.
Your charisma is terrible.
All right then.
Skitters has a 3, just same as you, and has more subterfuge. And Pro Speaker has 6 dice and can take 3 as half. So
Could I help at least with their roll?
I guess you can provide an extra die.
I got 3 successes. Is that not enough?
I think it's enough. Absolutely.
Great.
I'm seeing you as getting 4.
Absolutely have.
Oh, I did get 4.
Yeah, you
Okay,
did.
I got 4 successes. That's even. I am being charismatic and lying as fuck.
Absolutely. Both of these you are beating.
I'm from the University of Wyoming.
Because there is one, obviously.
There's bound to be.
Like Wyoming State University or something. You can be pretty sure that they will have a pretty big Department of Agriculture because Wyoming. So it wouldn't
Yeah,
be
all the
weird.
money.
This isn't a completely plausible lie. Okay. Right. Yeah, no, we haven't lost any here, but I heard the Johnsons might have lost some. Anyway. Yeah, there was definitely talk about it. Yeah.
Could you tell me where the Johnsons are from here?
Absolutely.
You could show me my map, maybe?
She's never going to open the screen door, but she will point to the map through the screen door.
Okay. And thank you. You've been an absolute angel. There's no hospitality like country hospitality, and I'll tip my imaginary cat to her.
Huh?
The Johnsons are probably like their closest neighbour, so they're only 28 miles away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why do we come here without a car? We seriously need to rig your RV so it can go through the boom bridges.
That'd be so fucking cool.
That would be insane. And also
I
pretty
know.
costly in terms of willpower and everything.
Which is why we must do it.
I guess we're going to the Johnsons next.
Yeah. Let's go to the Johnsons. So if it's really long, I guess we can drop into it, but out of view and turn into wolves and try to go faster. But if it's not that long,
Why don't we do... We're going to do a charisma investigation to abstract this a little bit.
charisma investigation.
Charisma
I
is,
don't-
investigation is a unique combination we have not
Yeah,
used.
like I don't know if who has investigation? Just Miranda, I think.
She has investigation. She doesn't have any charisma at all to speak of. Miles! Look at you go. Does that mean that you're gonna get yourself investigation one day? I feel like you should, because you're like an investigative reporter for your own pirate radio channel sooner or later. Right?
Actually, I suppose I could get that with the XP I've got now, because I've got 4 in the tank, and I'd only need 3 of them to get an investigation done.
This is true, yes. Anyway, we're gonna spend some time here exploring this, obviously, because, again, you are far away from civilization in the strictest sense of the word. So it's gonna take you probably the rest of the afternoon, I'm gonna say, to do this, as you are going from one farm to another, asking around. A rumor will spread about your presence. But you do, at
Okay,
least
that's
some
even
of
better
you look
because
like actual university students, so you might just be able to pull it off. The rumor mill here There have been some predation, absolutely. At least one lamb has been taken, a sheep was taken near a draw, and there's another kill on top of that.
Okay, this is worm shit.
Well, it's not super unusual that you have predators.
No, it isn't the kills themselves their issue. It's the sheer frequency. I don't think any sort of wolf pack or coyote pack would be this aggressive.
You will find out with 4 successes that some of this is rumor that you haven't been able to confirm or not.
All right. So,
Neighbor or something like that. And you don't
so we
ever
haven't
get
found
to the
anybody
actual...
who's actually lost wolves to sheep.
Well, wolf sheep would be a very interesting situation, wouldn't it? But that has not happened. No, you will have... There will be at least a couple of confirmed losses. I mean, again, you have spent, one late afternoon, like half an afternoon, across a fairly wide country where you don't even have a car to travel with. So there's only so much ground you can cover now. Unless you get yourselves back to Valkenburg and have a chat with them to get like a loaner vehicle or something.
Yeah, I feel like we should probably have done that first.
I'm fine with retconning that because it seems like you might need one. I don't know that you would even want to run for hours in Wolf.
Miranda's smart. Maybe let's say that she just suggested that and we move on.
Store speaker, our driver. You're the resident driver, aren't you? Because you're the one with the drive skill. Like, more than one dot in it. Anyway, you've covered some ground. You have confirmed at least some kills, and there's rumors of more. There's gonna be like a general sentiment that like a place where you can go to find out more will be, in the local community. There's definitely going to be a steakhouse where people go after their hard working days to relax and kick back and talk to the other ranchers, and that's where like everybody is gathered on any given day.
By the way, we should probably go warn the game wardens real quick.
Okay, if you want to warn them.
That would be in Redland City, by the way, so...
Oh, and that's how far away? Like an hour drive or something?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, let's drive there, and we can post a letter to the game wardens there.
About 3 hours at the most to get there, talk to some game wardens and get back if we get them lucky.
Well, we don't need to talk to we can just send them a letter or ring them.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 hours roughly, depending on how many complications there are.
You're thinking just to put the letter straight through their letterbox?
Yeah, or something like that, yeah, exactly.
So you're heading into Redland City then, because that's obviously where you're going to find all the amenities of civilization, like the local Kmart, gas station, and sheriff's patrol building, and so on and so forth.
Is this where the steakhouse is as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's basically the local truck stop, if you will. Not a lot of people live in Redland City, but, Pickup trucks, that's what we need, right? We're in the prairies now. People here have pickup trucks.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
This is Oklahoma with a bit of snow.
Yeah. No. Pickup trucks in rural Midwestern America is like an AK-47 in a failing third world country.
This is Werewolf the Wild West, 1991. Oh! We're actually playing... What is it called? Yellowstone, the show. Aren't we?
Thinking it'd be funny.
That would result in an immediate copyright strike, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Mikkel here would get sent straight to oblivion.
Yes. I wish
He
I
wouldn't
could
even
do
have
things
time
like
to
that,
process
but
it.
no.
And seeing as Mikkel is, I think, immortal. Are you immortal, Mikkel?
You don't know what kind of...
I don't think that we'd be able to recover him from oblivion afterwards.
No. There's no recovery. Redland City! Look at this hotbed of civilization. They have both kinds of music here, country and western.
Great, my two favorite genres.
Yeah.
Probably unironically Stromfeld's favorite genres, though.
By the time you get to Redland City, you'll just have to drop a letter with the Fish and Wildlife Services, because they obviously have a small office here with federal agents who are doing their work, but it's going to be past office hours. Nobody's really here. The sheriff's office probably has, like, because they have to deal with all the drunks spilling out from the local steakhouse, so they have to actually have some deputies on duty. It's going to be state patrol, probably. This is Friday the 14th of February, and it is evening, which means that the steakhouse will be jam-packed. Everybody's here.
Okay,
We can
you guys
shout
can
out.
check out the restaurant.
Well, there's no point checking out the restaurant since we're gonna head back to the other steakhouse in the other town, right?
No, this is the steakhouse that we
This
were
is
going
the
to.
stakeout.
Oh, in that case, then let's shout out then.
Since while we're here in the town and near enough to the steakhouse, we should probably do another look into the Umbra just to make sure.
Yeah, yes, let's look at the Umbra before since we're going to be here for a while.
Very well.
And if Miranda's starting to run low on willpower, Miles can do it as well because he's got the special knife.
I mean, the Umbra is particularly stronger here. It's still... Sure, it's not a 2 that would be in the forest, but it's not, you know... This is not that weird telephone exchange house that you were in New York at all.
33 Thomas Street?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can roll and succeed sometimes. What did you want to do, Skitters?
I'm going to walk over to the Garda station.
The Windbreak Steakhouse and Lounge. That's where we're going with. So you're going to the station, and I mean, again, the office is closed for the day because it's 6 p.m. and nobody wants to work past 4 on a Friday.
I thought you said it was open.
Oh, the sheriff's station. Yes. Okay.
Wait, hold
don't
on,
need
out of
coffee.
character.
You do.
Hold on just a sec. I'm confused. So
We are in
Steakhouse
Redland
is
City.
in Redland City. Steakhouse in
Oh.
Redland City. When you want
Okay,
this is the truck stop.
I am sort of a dirty clown. What the fuck are you doing, Gage?
This is the town. There's no other towns around.
My brain is cooked.
It's okay.
All time. Funny.
So we're gonna have Skitters go to the sheriff's, and the rest of you go to the steakhouse.
Yes.
Skitter, how are you dressed when you're getting into the sheriff's place? Because
In like kind of all denim kind of deal, like a denim shirt and a pants.
okay,
And a denim pants, yeah. So, you know, I'm looking kind of studenty.
there's gonna be all of one deputy sitting behind a desk, and maybe another one getting coffee further into the offices. It's a small bullpen behind the desk. This is what they could have like half a dozen deputies out here, and I'm sure the sheriff is not on the clock at the moment because he can choose his work times, and will definitely put his junior on like the worst shifts. So, you know, he's home for the weekend now.
So, I'm going to politely knock on the door as I go in, alerting the...
Yeah, they're looking up from their desk here.
Hey, have you guys gotten reports of sheep killings recently? I'm doing a kind of survey census for the university in Wyoming.
Right, and this is not our department, but you're
Yeah,
coming
but you
here.
might have like this is a small town.
Fair enough.
Gossip
Yeah.
talks.
Yeah, no, we hear. Yeah, there's been some rumors around, but yeah, it's. Think was it like a mountain lion took a sheep or coyotes? Some people say wolves, but I don't know.
I've been driving all day, and I've heard like neighbor of a neighbor, things like that. It's all rumor. I haven't heard any.
And he's gonna give you like 3 different names, 2 of which you've heard before.
Do you know what? Since you guys have been so helpful, do you want me to bring you over something from the restaurant? Maybe takeout or something?
I could do with a large burger with fries.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, yes.
As you're walking along the streets here, the difference here between an actual Western movie and this town is there's more electrical wiring and there are no horses, only 4x4 trucks. Everybody's driving a truck.
It's 1992. There could totally be some crazy asshole riding a horse.
There will be a couple of horses. There's going to be a horse line as well.
Literally, like a few years ago in like Chandler, which is a pretty decent, like modernized town, like had like a fucking like guy on a horse go through a drive-through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're not wrong. And will there be Stetsons around here? Everywhere. Maybe not as many Stetsons as in Texas, but enough Stetsons to like, why aren't you wearing your Stetsons?
There's enough Stetsons here to blow out the sun still, though.
As you're walking, your good friend Miranda will comment on the Umbra. Well, it looks very similar on the other side. Let's see. Clean geometry. Straight main street. Very intentional line of pale stone. It's like someone drew it with a ruler and then polished it. The storefront windows glow brighter. It's not really neon, it's more the spirits of commerce.
Ooh, and let me guess. Spider spirits everywhere.
Mostly over the stores, really. And along the electric lines.
Standard Weaver shit.
Yeah. Cold iron, sage, old coffee.
Oh, by the way, did you remember to give that warning to the game wardens?
No, I didn't say I was doing that.
I'm gonna kill you one of these days, Skitters.
Wait, that was your idea? So why am I responsible for your idea?
Okay, now I'm gonna...
We'll notice small practical spirits. Like, most of them are asleep, but, town spirits. They keep the things running. They're like, a mailbox has a little mouth that swallows news and gossip. There's a stop sign that feels more like a stern teacher. The transformer box is a tight knot of contained lightning with a watchful hum. And yeah. There is no obvious signs of worm corruption in here.
Sounds about right. I'm gonna go talk to the game wardens. And then Jake runs up.
Rip! So, Skitters and yeah. So what is Famous and Weave Walker and Store Speaker do? Are we going into the diner where they have both country and western?
I was thinking that what we can do to endear ourselves to these people. First question is, does this steakhouse have an eating competition? Like the 32-ounce steak or something like that?
There must be some live music tonight because, it's a Friday night. It's a couple of weeks before Halloween, so you will see all the orange, like, pumpkins and, jack-o'-lanterns and things like that outside the steakhouse. Definitely the decor is up for Halloween. It was Valentine's Day yesterday, so I think some of the bunting and stuff for Valentine's Day is still up, like hearts everywhere. So Friday night here is going to be couples night because it's, They're gonna even have a dance floor in here, I'm pretty sure. It's a steakhouse, not a diner, but yeah. Someone has put up paper hearts that look like they were cut in a hurry. Some red streamers sag over the bar mirror. There's a chalkboard special tonight. Valentine prime rib for 2. You can feel the smell of butter and onions and coffee. There are couples, people who are, celebrating, if not their wedding anniversary, probably their first date or something like that. A lot of them are middle-aged, and just about all the gentlemen have Stetson hats because this is Wyoming, dang it. There
might have been a knock at the door.
I'm trying so hard. Everybody's running away. I am alone.
You're not alone. You'll never be alone.
Everyone,
I'll never be alone.
yeah. Oh my fuck.
Since we're doing this, I guess we're doing Drumfelt then instead.
Howdy.
Howdy. Well, the park services are closed for today.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sleep deprived today.
Oh yeah. I guess I'll head into a police station or whatever.
You can see Skinner's coming from the police station when you're going to the police station.
Yeah, I guess after having that talk with the group, Jake runs over to the police station.
Okay. Skaters is coming out. You're going there. Are you gonna chat with Skaters or just going to the police station?
No, we already did chat with Skitters.
Okay.
All right.
So you were going into the police station alone. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, they're gonna look up and see the strange face. Howdy, stranger. What can we do for you?
All right, and you know the weirdo outside that just came in earlier?
Yeah?
Yeah, well, I'm with him, and he forgot to mention that we also heard some folk might be organizing an illegal hunt of wolves out of season. So you might want to tell some game wardens after a while about that.
You can tell them yourself on Monday.
All right. Got it. And then have a good day, officer. And as Jake leaves, he just whispers to himself, useless motherfucker.
Does he hear it? Will he come for you? Are you done with your life and your mission in the world? Who knows? Roger, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'll got 2 possible plans just sort of gain the affection of these people. One is if there is any kind of eating competition in this steakhouse, at least one of us with a good constitution for it should do it. And if it's like open mic, it's like karaoke or something like that, Miles will go up and sing the Bobby Bear song, The Winner.
I don't know that karaoke is a big thing in 1992 yet.
Like open mic or whatever.
There's going to be some live music, absolutely.
Small time buddies.
I don't think the live music has started just yet because it's just like 6 or something. So the show will start at like 8. But there's a jukebox which is doing some love songs and heartbreak songs, and a TV above the bar with sports, no doubt. Maybe it's actually a broadcast from... What kind of sports would they show here in February? Needless to say, I think, is, well, you stick out a little bit, don't you? Not a single one of you gentlemen are wearing a Stetson hat, and 2 of you gentlemen look like hippies because you have hair down to your shoulders, which is just an unmanly thing to do, isn't it?
And
Also,
there's Bryce, who looks like a punk.
yeah.
The college student.
She definitely looks like someone who belongs in a big city and would be probably bullied in this area because what's with the studs and everything. So, yeah, she does not. Just a shame that she does not look like an all-American country girl, and that will probably be held against her.
Meanwhile, Jake just looks like the average vagabond.
That's also going to be held against you because, you know, these are respectable Christian God-fearing people here. With
Exactly.
good
Don't want
homes and are providing and hardworking.
the freeloader.
Drifters. Exactly. So no eating competition tonight, Miles, because tonight is a night of love.
Love.
Yeah, love is the
It's
theme
love, you
tonight.
idiot. It's love, you idiot.
So what are we doing here, folks?
I don't fucking know. Do any of y'all got a plan?
Is there any like dancing going on or like
oh yeah,
people
definitely.
looking?
There'll be some country dancing, absolutely.
Is there like people?
It hasn't started
like,
yet. They put up the program on a chalkboard, and you know it's gonna start in like a couple of hours with live music.
Okay, this is a restaurant, right? It's not a pub, so there's nobody here.
There's definitely people here for romance. It's a steakhouse, but it's also the local. I mean, it doubles as everything. This is where you're eating your steak. It's where you're drinking your beer, and your bourbon, and it's where you're gonna go dance tonight.
All right. So, is there like a bar in this place,
Absolutely,
like
absolutely.
where people are hanging out?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna-
you can see like the row of backs with Stetson hats and so on. They have definitely hired the local high school or just after high school age girls who are dressed in very tight jeans and tight snug shirts, you know, plaid shirts, that are unbuttoned just at the neck, but not so much as to be indecent.
It's like
Hooters, after all.
geriatrics.
What was that?
And excite the geriatrics.
Exactly. It's not a Hooters. It's more modest than that. But if you're looking for curves, you'll find some curves.
It's classic bar slop.
And yeah, they're gonna go around and take the orders and so on. And there's gonna be more than one glance towards this group because you look so desperately out of place here. Because you are a bunch of New Yorkers just suddenly dropped in on this Wyoming steakhouse for Valentine's night. And not only that, there's like 5 of you, and like, who is the third wheel in this group?
We're probably all ravenously hungry, so stage 1 of fitting in, let's just do what our instincts are telling us to do and eat some steaks.
Who has the resources among you again? Yeah, you have a resource.
I'm dirt poor, man. Don't look at me. I'm just getting the water, pretty much.
Bryce has no resources at all. But Miles has a couple. Which I guess means, let's see now. Yeah, no resources with Weave Walker either, and you are dirt poor, aren't you, Stromfeld? So you will be between the 5 of you, I guess you'll be able to settle for the absolute cheapest dishes here, and then share a bunch of.
Wait, one resource we can't even.
You have
Yeah.
3 resources between 5 of you.
Oh no, we're just eating French fries, pretty much.
Yeah, French fries and like possibly 1 steak shared, or you know whatever the cheapest burger is.
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't realize resources
I have an idea, everyone. I have an
went
idea.
so low.
What was
You
that?
know? Like I thought I had more resources than that.
You have 1, don't you?
This is why it's a shame there isn't an eating competition on where the rules are if you finish it, you eat free.
I mean, that's fair.
I just had an amazing idea.
What is that?
Haru, we don't really get diseases too easily. you know.
Oh yeah,
And
I got resources mixed up with
surely-
contacts.
And surely there are some people who are a little bit wasteful, and you know, that just gets thrown away in like a dumpster out back.
But anybody sees us doing that, that will really mess up the plan to endear us to them.
Who said anything about endearing ourselves, man? And also, I'm like a filthy vagabond. Okay, they already have a low opinion of me. You're a punk, I say, looking at Bryce. You're some hippie who smokes the devil's lettuce and probably believes in Satanism. And you look like a serial killer, I say, looking at Paul.
I look like a serial killer.
Maybe a little
I actually
bit for
don't.
them. I think the only one who looks anywhere close to proper in this entire pack is actually Miranda, and that's because she's dressed like a student.
Yeah, and you honestly look even worse for that, you know?
As you sit down around a table there's going to be one of the waitresses coming up and like, well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. What will it be tonight? And Famous will immediately clock the skepticism in her voice. Like, she's polite, she's smiling, she's doing the neighborly friendly thing, you know, in the West when you're being hospitable and all that. She has that training in her body that she's going to be polite and so on. But Themis just knows that the moment she gets into the kitchen, she's gonna gossip the heck out of you guys. Because you're a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, Jake is dirt poor and doesn't feel like being rude and asking for you mooch off of all of you, so he'll just say, yeah, I'll go with water.
Strong Speaker can afford the middle-class lifestyle.
Like,
you can do
A
that.
middle-class lifestyle is a meal for 5 people.
Oh
like
yeah,
at a
that
restaurant.
is, yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying he can do that every night, but today he can do it.
He's one of the richest men in the world.
This is not wrong.
Afford to spring for some nice steaks.
Springs for some nice steaks. Yes, we can. Yeah, do you want... And she's going to look at you like maybe a couple of Valentine prime ribs. And she's going to look at, like, trying to figure out who is dating who in this group. Or who is married with who. Because once you're over 20 in this area, you're getting married. Like, everybody here marries their high school sweetheart.
How successful?
She's, yeah, exactly. And settles down and, good, God-fearing life. Gotta have the family. But yeah, she's trying to figure out who among you is married with whom, and, what's the, this is just with looks, mind you. So, I don't know how you're gonna react to that. Apparently not at all.
I guess I can totally see her assuming like Stormspeaker and Weedwalker are a thing, and seeing like Skitters and Femis as a thing.
Alright.
I bet that's what you.
I mean, that would track, wouldn't it? With just appearances. So, new in town, she says? What brings you around here this time of year?
Oh, College thing. Wildlife
wow.
survey.
That's really cool. You're getting yourself an education. You have to make something of yourself in life, right?
Yeah. I know I don't exactly look the type, but
Is there anyone here who actually looks good?
oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that we're all also covered in scars, man.
No, we're not. we're
Yeah.
There's some scars here. Look,
You
Jake,
carry scars from battles. You're not
I like to do the scars as like a cosmetic thing. That's why I've
Which is
tracked
pretty
mine. Like every time I take a serious amount of damage, I put a new scar in because I think it's like cool.
It is cool. It is. It adds flavor. I
And,
think the only one that she might do any flirting with right now is going to be Miles, because Miles just has that animal magnetism about him, doesn't he? Like, charisma persuasion, 4 successes when taking half. He's pretty charming, isn't he? Though he doesn't look like a model or anything like that. You didn't take any of the appearance merits. So initially, you know, she might not notice you, but over the evening, she's probably gonna start, you know, flirting a little bit with Milo.
Oh, never mind.
For
Sorry.
now, she's just taking your orders and bringing something to drink for you all. If you're in college, you can drink beer, provided you're all 21.
And also have ID.
And also have ID.
Well,
Yeah, so no beer for you, Skitters. Sorry.
Actually, I don't think any of us are 21, are we?
I look in my mid-20s, like, and Skitters is of indeterminate age. He doesn't actually know how old he is.
They're not super strict with the age limit out here. Like, everybody has a beer.
I just realized that also Jake has a completely just shot off left ear or something. Or not left ear, right?
We
I don't
just
know which ear.
fixed that.
Oh, they
Anyway.
fixed it where it now has some scars.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I remember that, like, I have a good idea of what Jake looks like now. His hair is still long and all that, but never mind. We'll discuss that later.
Yep.
So who among us actually has visible scars? I know Stormspeaker's been shot so many times, but I think all his scars are in his torso.
Jake is wearing a tank top, which means a lot of his scars are visible, including slashes, bullets, and puncture marks. Some really strange shit.
You look like you've been through, you know, the war or something, or been mauled by a bear, which is not too far from the truth. You would not be the only person in this particular community who looks like they've been mauled by a bear, because let's face it, this is Wyoming. There's wildlife out here. People end up under logs, have accidents with chainsaws and bolt cutters, and get kicked in the face by horses every once in a while. So, you know, scars are not...
Is all these scars being on a bunch of supposedly college kids.
Anyway, she's ordered your drinks, and yeah, she's gonna go and get your drinks, beers for everybody, and there you sit around the table. Beers, it's American beers, so, you know, it's maybe not the most impressive beers in the world. Said the Canadian, because you had to.
No, that's acceptable, yeah.
It's not exactly German beer, or Czech beer, or such.
We do have good whiskey, though. You
What was
can't
that?
beat us in whiskey.
If you're referring to the stuff called bourbon, I will disagree. But that's just me. I'm a
A lot of
Schmidt.
whiskey, all different types, man.
Beers are in, steaks are coming, and you're gonna feel the juices flowing in your mouth as a result. Yum.
Jake will ask for the cheapest thing on the menu, just to make sure that Miles doesn't spend too much on them.
Very good.
Probably like a French fry, pretty much.
One French fry. No. There's gonna be
Yeah.
enough for everybody.
I'm going to go to the bar and try to see if I can start a conversation about, like, what's been happening in the area.
All right, you have some charisma, don't you?
Yeah.
I think we're just going with your regular persuasion, right? You're just having a chat with the locals. So charisma persuasion.
Yeah.
What's your half when you're doing that?
Um.
If we take half for your charisma persuasion, you get 2 successes.
Oh, I thought you said what's your path.
I mean, that's also interesting.
My persuasion is 1, 2, 3, 4.
You get taking half is. Well, we're going persuasion here. Charisma persuasion. So. we
Oh,
round
sorry,
it down.
2.
Yeah.
2. Sorry, I mixed up with.
You are going up to the bar, and there's definitely going to be some guys there. And you know what these guys have? There's just a very high ratio of man to mustache. Very high ratio of mustache. The fact that you don't have a mustache is a bit weird, Skitters. Like,
Okay,
what kind of a grown man doesn't have facial hair?
I can show them facial hair if they want to.
You want to get some kind of information from these guys, right? But you are from out of town, and you're a weirdo. And they know
I'm a
this.
weirdo?
Absolutely, you're a weirdo.
I specifically look like non-threatening, non-anything. Like, people would look at me and be like, huh,
Yeah, you're
that
still a
dude.
weirdo.
You
Also, I
look
just realized.
like a homeless person from New York streets. Yeah.
Never mind. Keep going.
Unless you know, change clothes at the Valkenburg Foundation, I'm sure they can help you with something.
Although considering we've got the dedicated clothes that we can change into wolf form and not destroy our clothes, we'd want like all our best clothes to be those clothes, you know, so that at least we could get.
That makes sense.
Wyoming is an open carry state. It also means there's probably a bunch of guys carrying revolvers in 1911s.
Absolutely.
Classic fun kit.
Absolutely. Second Amendment rights. I'm going to call this a
Shooting and
challenge.
shooting.
Go ahead.
I said rootin', tootin', and shooting, y'all.
Absolutely. Revolvers and 911s and others.
11s.
I'm sure there's going to be some others. I don't know if how popular Beretta is out here though.
That's mostly just those two guns.
I'll trust you. Skitters. I think it's going to be challenging, so I want 4 successes on your charisma persuasion check because you're a weird out of towner and the locals are a bit skeptic here.
I'm just weird because I'm an out-of-towner.
Yeah, you do not have the local town vibe.
That's 2 successes, not enough.
You have started the process of trying to talk to people, and you know, as you go up to the bar and try to talk to people, you will notice that they're mostly already engaged in conversations with each other, and everybody already knows everybody around here. So, one of the reasons why you're sticking out like a sore thumb is that nobody knows you here, and that is strange because this is a small community. Everybody knows everybody. Have you lived your entire life in New York City?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is gonna feel really weird. If you've lived your entire life in New York City, you sound like a New Yorker.
Yeah.
So you have the New York talk, you know? And that doesn't really sound like someone from Wyoming, you know?
But it's not illegal to be from New York.
No, it's not. It's just, you know, you're weird. They think you're weird. And therefore they're not terribly open to stuff.
Okay.
Although in some of the most remote counties, it may actually be on the books that it is illegal to be from New York.
No.
Probably not.
And it's crazy how every other state hates New York for being better than them.
Like,
Big city dilemma. Everybody outside of Toronto hates Toronto for being, you know.
It seems like when you're in the best part of the country, the people in the shitty parts of the country hate you for being better than them.
If you're gonna try to convince a Vancouverite that they are not living in the best part of the country, you have some work cut out for you, sir.
Look, I'm not talking about. I don't know that much about Canadian cities
This is true.
yet.
Anyway, yeah, Skitters has tried to catch the attention of the locals, so far without quite enough success. What is the rest of y'all gonna do?
As the band is already here and setting up, one thing Miles can definitely do is talk music. So we'll go and talk to the band.
It's gonna be definitely a country band. They have impressive sideburns and mustaches and Stetsons. You can talk music to them, but if you talk music to them like someone who is into basically any other genre, yeah, let's go. Straw speaker, charisma and performance. You have buckets of it, so with 3 when you take half, I still want the 4 successes though. Because you're still weirdos. Well,
Holy shit.
there is a guitar, there is a bass. Let's go. A microphone, everything you need. So, yeah, local musicians will find commonality with Store Speaker. What are we talking about, Store Speaker?
It gives the Song Speaker does know about all pretty much at least some amount about all kinds of music,
Yeah.
but it's probably talking about the more general stuff as well, like different venues and life on the road, and those kind of stories that are more universal across every kind of band.
That's fair. And yeah, they're gonna open up around that. They're gonna crack a couple of jokes. They're gonna be, don't I know it? Huh, yeah, tell me about it. And then do their own story from the road, and you know how they also had a problem once because I guess their equipment broke down at the worst possible time, and there they were, and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's some bonding over that, absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, you're not from around here, are you? What gives? How come you come out here?
And this band is a local band. They're not.
Yeah, it's a local band.
So I guess we'll tell them.
They are
some
boasting
story
about how they've been on the road all across the state.
I will tell them the story we agreed on, that we're from the university doing a wildlife survey about the attacks.
I mean, you expect a little bit of trouble, you know, ranchers, farmers, they live a hard life, man, but I should know. I mean, we're all this is not our full-time thing. We're all working in the industry, you know, when we're not doing this. It seems like there's been a little bit of a spike over the last couple of weeks, last month or so, yeah. The winter was harder than usual, but I don't think it was. So it's a bit weird that this happened, but, you know, God giveth and God taketh away. You don't know what might have happened in other parts of the city, other parts of the state, other parts of the country, and maybe some new predators came out here to stake out their territory because they were chased away from some other territory. Who knows? God works in mysterious ways to test us, I guess.
So I'm in two minds what I want to do at this point. I'm going the base, since I've just bonded with these guys. The sort of low risk thing I could ask them to do is, like, once they've got open, at least done like their first song, if they'd mind making an announcement for us, you know, that we're here researching this, and if anybody who has lost some animals, who knows something, can come and talk to us. I'm also kind of tempted to get, if I can persuade them to let Miles go up on stage with them.
Well, they'd be happy to with all those successes, absolutely. Do you know this or that song they're going to ask about? Like, and it's basically going to be just country and western. They might accept Elvis as well.
But it will be the Bobby Bear song, The Winner, because that is straight up country.
All right, so unless Skitters and True Strike have anything else in mind for the evening here,
No,
you're gonna have.
Not unless it involves raiding a dumpster.
You don't have to raid a dumpster. You're getting like nice steaks, juicy steaks. Are they
Wrong.
rare? Yes, they're rare.
Everyone else is getting steaks. I got the fries because I didn't want to make Storm Speaker spend too much on me when there's a perfectly good dumpster.
Why did they
It's like-
remove the make food gift? I don't even cooking gift for Bognor.
I got the werewolf equivalent of the snow bunny mind control, man.
Clearly.
Oh, is that what was that John Candy film called, where they were like out in the woods somewhere, and he did an eating competition, and he thought he'd done it, and it was just down to sort of a serious amount of gristle left over, and then they made him eat the gristle. Is like True Strike doing that voluntarily?
Damn right I am.
Damn right he is.
That's good eating, motherfucker. And True Strike would have said that even before he knew he was a werewolf.
Yeah, they're gonna go up on stage there, and they're gonna do the thing over the microphone where they're introducing. Are you using your actual name, Miles Lincoln, here? Or are you using some other name?
Yeah, I think he will use his own name.
They're gonna announce you like, and everybody would like to introduce you to Miles Lincoln, who comes all the way from Wyoming State University to do some researching into how things are going at your farm. So if you have any concerns, we've heard the rumors, why don't you head over to Mr. Lincoln and his colleagues over there. Meanwhile, Mr. Lincoln has promised us a song, which is actually a good way to make the locals feel better. Themis can, is when he's introducing you as students from the Wyoming State University, which by now is probably the rumor that's been going on because you've been spending hours talking to people, and word travels quickly in a small community. And Themis will lean in a bit and go like, I don't think they like university students much out here. I'm getting a whole bunch of, negative vibe looks in our general direction. What's wrong with university students? Why don't they like university students? She's a little bit baffled.
Universities tell them they can't fuck their own moms.
Well, and also these small town types. I can say this because I'm also from a small town. Are usually jealous. You college students can do more with their life besides shovel shit and do fentanyl. Actually, have a future.
Well, I've read somewhere that they don't like you much because they think students are arrogant and know how they should be running their lives and come out here and tell them what to do, and particularly if you're into, like environmentalism and stuff, that you're not going to get far here. So, if we're saying that we're doing a survey on predators and whatnot, they're probably going to think that we're here to protect the predators and let the predators eat their cattle and their livestock, and that's not going to go over well with them.
Well, that's exactly
Also,
what we're
then there's the
here
whole
for.
panel.
So they've got good instincts there.
Yeah.
Yes, but it
That
doesn't
also
do us any
probably
favors when talking to them.
And also probably something where homosexual Satanists.
Yeah, the underlying resentment of rural versus urban, which will explode in the US about 25 years later and lead to some interesting political developments.
Man,
In front of a live audience.
A year in New York City really changed Jake's outlook on life, man.
Do you want to roll a charisma performance check, or are you just taking half here, Miles?
Yeah, I'll roll it. And I will willpower that.
Luckily, you cannot get a brutal outcome, so you're not going to automatically fail here. We have ourselves 3 successes, which is, okay, you're a stranger, they wanted 4. But the moment you put down the microphone and leave and the others take over, and I think the band, the musicians who are, here to play, they are going to be a good deal more positive towards you than the general audience here. Well, there's going to be a lot of whooping and hollering the moment the regularly scheduled band comes up here and starts playing again. Because, now it's someone they know and probably have known for the past 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah, you are just the odd one out. With the 4 successes, you would have warmed up the crowd a bit better, but here we are.
You didn't make a fool of yourself.
He did not make a fool of himself, and you're not all getting to be tossed out from the steakhouse for being weird strangers. But the weird stranger dynamic between yourselves and the community is pretty firmly established by now. I don't know how long you want to stay here. Like, the evening's gonna go on. They're gonna play here until like 2 or 3 a.m. probably.
If we hit a wall, let's go back to the Valkenburg for the night anyway. We can continue asking people in the morning. Maybe talk to the... Well, tomorrow's Sunday, but we can talk to people at church, maybe.
You could, yeah.
I don't want
Church will be in a couple of days, obviously, because, you know, it's Friday now.
Well,
so it's
isn't
Sunday
today
morning.
Saturday?
Nope, it's Friday.
Oh, what?
All right, Jake will say, everyone, I have a plan that I want to tell you in the truck.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess we're leaving the diner. You decide. You've spent some time
Oh,
there.
wait. Could I have used animal magnetism as part of my performance on stage?
Exudes feral aura on social skill test versus human subjects. Yes, you can.
Now that Mikhail's already really described what happened, I feel like
I can
Maybe
give you 2
for-
extra successes if you spend your rage check.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Let him use animal magnetism for once. We've never used it before. He needs to remember that he has it.
I respect that. All right, then. Nice, you got to keep the die.
So the difference will be that you get an extra success because you have 4 glories, so you get 2 extra successes, which puts you to 5. Which means that when you have sung your song, there's gonna be whooping and hollering, and everybody's gonna be like clapping, one more. As you have the animal magnetism, I can tell you that there's gonna be a lot of ladies here who definitely want to hear one more, and maybe there will want to be some ladies here. You're gonna be like that magnetism that musicians have for whoever is looking for romance, and let's just face it, sex. Storm Speaker, you are gonna have some attention from the local. Apparently, you're the new hottie in town. Like, unlike all the others in this group, there's gonna be some young, pretty farm ladies who want to dance with you tonight.
So I
And
guess
perhaps
the
do
rest of
something else as well.
Miles' evening is accounted for, so everybody else can do their own thing.
Just realized Miles did the equivalent of like basically quick saving before a skill check and then quick loading when it went wrong.
For this once, I'm allowing it because he's never used that gift before. But you know, in the future, if we are past the scene, I'm not gonna retcon it like this. But he had a point. He's never used it before. He keeps forgetting it. Let's entrenching that in his mind. So is Stormspeaker gonna get lucky tonight then? I guess. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Storm Speaker gets some tail.
Yes, he does.
I guess we'll discuss Jake's brilliant plan in the truck. So basically, all right, everyone, here's the plan. I'm thinking we head out tonight as wolves and maybe track out, like, goes to that farm where the sheep were killed and maybe try and find the tracks of whatever killed it. It's probably just kind of a mountain lion or something, but it might be good to check it out.
Okay, I agree. But do we know, like, have we a location where sheep were killed?
You have some locations, you guess.
Yeah.
Are you gonna check them out tonight or tomorrow?
Let's check them
I'm
out tonight.
Oh, no.
I mean, a little bit, but
A little
I
bit.
mean, it'll be not enough to like where we can't do our job.
You can definitely do your jobs.
Yeah. Okay, let's check it out, sure. It might be more stuff happening in the dark.
So I guess as we're driving to the farm, Jake will switch to Lupus. And also ask whoever's driving, hey, could you roll down the window?
So you can sit with the tongue out and just have it flutter in the wind?
Yeah. Roll the window down.
Duh.
I say, scratching at the back seat with my
You
paw.
know who is not driving right now? Storm Speaker,
Not Paul.
because he is dancing and getting lucky tonight.
I guess Skitters is driving, even though he doesn't have drive, but whatever, he's driving.
Bryce actually has driving. Dot.
Then Bryce can drive.
Definitely
Wolf.
driving.
Yeah. I'm not even sure you know how to drive.
He doesn't.
No.
Let's hope for the Garu Nation's sake that, Miles' condom is iffy.
All right, we're heading out to the farms to check out places where animal attacks have happened. That's what we're doing, right?
Mm.
Shit, is that going in the Game Code channel, man?
What was that?
The condom thing.
It's definitely going in the game quotes now.
It's going in the Game Codes, man.
Do we have anyone with investigation here? We have Miranda the Weave Walker. Optinode is so utterly useless out here because there's no technology use at all. Like, we're not in New York anymore, man. Optinode is sitting in his little casing for the brick phone casing and just I suffer. There's almost no connections here at all. All right. But we're heading out to the farmlands, and there you will all meet your destiny. Miles isn't here, of course, because he's having fun elsewhere. Themis is going to roll for her... What are we doing here? No, she's not the investigator. What am I talking about? It's Weavewalker. How about... Wits and investigation, because she's not in a bunch of books right now. She's going to try to do forensics thing, right? Three successes. Not sure that's going to be enough, but she can...
Question, Mikhail.
Yeah.
Could I use wit survival in Lupus form to perhaps sniff around?
For some tracking, absolutely.
Maybe, catch any weird scents or something?
I mean, if an attack happened a month ago, there isn't going to be a whole lot to go on.
But there might be something.
I didn't say there was nothing.
It's nothing.
Now you all get jumped by were elk.
Were elk. There are a lot of changing breeds.
Well, I don't think there's any were elks.
But not were elks, no.
Honestly, it's so weird to me that there are no weird were-deer. That's so weird.
Except for the deer women of, Indian mythology, there isn't really any were-deer myths.
That makes sense, but that being said, Gaia, what the fuck? You're telling me you made 3 different dog people, but you didn't make a fucking were-deer? What is your priority list, Gaia?
Lots of wolves.
I like to think that Gaia's persona is a wolf, and that's why she made all the changing fucking dogs and shit.
In Forsaken, all the werewolves are actually, descended from Father Wolf. So...
That's badass. I need to learn more about, Requiem and, Forsaken.
Yeah,
It's
Requiem,
so-
I want to play more Requiem in my life, but there we are.
It's like a weird, fucked up, bizarro version of World of Darkness.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna call it World of Light from now on because of how weird it is.
It's just to be the opposite.
Yeah, because Requiem's so weird, man.
We've walked, as you were out here looking at some of these farms over this night to find. You're looking for traces of animal attacks, or you're going to make a false trail? Because that's how we started this whole thing.
Yeah, we're looking for because we need to know where the trail starts so we can start, then we can make a false trail, you know?
She will. I mean, she can definitely find a good place where a false trail will be found. You know, a funnel point, like a gate, a creek crossing, 2-track junction, something like that, and place it, a place to plant it so it will misdirect. Like, this is the route, it's going from the road, and then it dead ends into a bad ground that is very hard packed, precisely because of the winter, and doesn't leave a whole lot of traces, but it's going that way. And because you guys are, in fact, you know, possible people who can turn into literal wolves, it's not going to be very hard for you to leave behind wolf-smelling tracks that end in nothing, because when you decide to, you just shift back to homid form again, and then you're not going to leave any wolf smells behind you, are you? So that is kind of practical. I think that's more of a survival check than it is Weave Walker's investigation wits. Investigation wits can be used in the forensic sense, where she knows where to plant evidence, so
maybe like with a combination of like that's like 7 successes.
I want to go with like one of these rolls rather than both, if you will.
Well then, since other people are helping me, can I roll 3 more die?
3 more dice? Oh! I guess, yeah.
Since I did push that roll.
Why are you rolling D6s, though?
Oh wait, I'm a clown. What the fuck was that, Gage? I'm actually cooked! The liberal
is this Mutant Year Zero, or is it World of Darkness?
Alright, so that's 5 successes overall.
5. This is for planting the tracks?
Oh my god. It was just it was just 4 successes. So yeah, this is for planting the tracks.
Very well. You are going to have planted these tracks very effectively, and I mean, you are literally wolves. All you have to do is, you know, urinate on some stones, drop off a little bit of tufts of fur here and there, step very, you know, consciously in a big puddle, and leave a nice big wolf paw mark, and just keep going with that trail in the opposite direction from where you're. So if they're north, you're going south with this track, and it's going to be loud and it's going to be obvious. And you have 4 people in your pack, so you can definitely mimic an actual wolf pack here pretty easily.
Yeah.
The tricky bit will be if you're ever Lupus around the dogs who are going after these tracks, in which case they're going to be really confused and angry. But, you know, the tracker dogs can't talk to humans, so I think you're going to be okay.
They can't snitch.
They can only bark.
Now that we've laid a false...
So I guess the investigation check from Miranda was to see, like, if we could find anything, and I guess my survival wits thing was just to do that, right?
Yep.
Is that what we're going? Alright then.
Yep.
Okay, now that we've done that, let's see, can we make another roll to see, can we follow the actual tracks of whatever is doing this?
I thought that was Miranda's roll.
Yeah, that's what she just rolled.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it's time to head back to Vulcanburg.
Oh, are we go if we've rolled to find those tracks, can we follow those tracks and see what's up? Get all this done in one night?
Yeah.
Alright, and the other tracks.
Yeah.
I guess we're following it then.
These are not necessarily fresh tracks, right?
Then there might not really be anything there.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
So think about it this way, we've spent a lot of time setting up, you know, this trail. So I imagine we're probably gone by then, you know,
Oh, yeah.
to where the truck.
Yeah, it's an
been a
excursion
while.
of a couple of hours at least.
Well,
By
I
the time
feel
you're
like
done, it's going to be well past midnight, I think.
Yeah, and we're
Okay,
exhausted.
so-
I feel like our party is just gonna have to head back.
Oh yeah, we'll start looking for the actual tracks tomorrow.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
So far, I feel like we've done good. We've gotten the hunters in the wrong direction.
Yep. I am going to say that Miles, you've had a good night. It turns out the girl's name is Cal. She's an excellent dancer. She's very friendly. She talks easily with you. She's teasing a bit. She's curious. She has a quick smile. And she's not necessarily easily intimidated. Miles, what do we have? Wits and insight. You get 2 successes automatically on that. That's not going to be enough to get through maybe the front she's putting up, if you will. But, you know, she's very friendly tonight, and she's curious about this. You sound like a New Yorker too, don't you?
Yeah.
So she's going to be very curious about this big city boy in Wyoming, and she's like, have you never ridden a horse before?
No, I guess Miles hasn't.
Well, you can't leave Wyoming without learning, can you?
Miles can't think of a way out. Slightly concerned about how the horse will react to him being.
That's good. But she's not bringing him out to ride tonight. It's a hint of a future date, let's say. It's a Friday night. How long are you in town? She's gonna ask things about that. Like, are you in town tomorrow over the weekend? Maybe we can meet. You know, I live at this and that ranch.
So can I roll that, what we say, insight and wits, just to see if with a roll I can see through?
Sure, let's go.
Oh my god.
Exactly.
I don't know why she did that.
I don't know.
She's not usually that.
So she seems to be using you, Miles, to poke fun at the locals. Like, there's definitely a couple of guys there who have been trying to flirt with her, but she is definitely using, you know, Miles as a way to get them even more frustrated with the fact that she's not paying them attention.
Oh my god, Stacy screwed the guy from out of town. That's fucked up.
Exactly. It's just, you are exotic, and she's after some exotic prey tonight.
Who's the predator and who's the prey?
That is the question. I just know that Store Speaker is getting lucky tonight. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And I think we're going to end the session with that this time, honestly. And on a high note. We ended last time on a high note with a lot of playing with Snarl. And we end this time on a high
But not that
note
kind of playing.
when there's a different kind of playing going around for Miles. Tomorrow morning as you wake up, I guess, I don't know where Miles is going to find himself, but probably somewhere out on a farm. And he's going to have to get himself back. He's going to have to do the walk of shame somehow. And thanks to everyone who was tuned in and took part of Hale Walker's investigations.